Welcome to the Ritmos, a podcast that deals with the life and times of Louisiana mobster Claude Ritmo as he makes his deals and deals with powerful people. A happy but also sad tale. Welcome to the Ritmos. Welcome to the podcast. This episode is let's see, is episode 4, Pastel de Especias. It's a Spanish word for a kind of a rough Spanish translation for spice cake. Okay. Now we're on July the 18th. It is 3 p.m. And in the Ritmo kitchen, Catalina gets a call from her cousin. "Hey, prima, it's Caesar," Caesar said. "¿Por qué no me..." And Catalina's like processing. "¿Por qué no me llamas?" "For 3 years," Catalina protested angrily. "Chill out. I started a band." "Well, it's getting a bit too crowded for me. Thinking about moving us to Shreveport. And that means coming to see you," Caesar said. "Prepare todo para ti, primo. I'll be there Sunday night. We have a concert at the auditorium of the Louisiana University of Louisiana there. I get tickets for you and your husband and your friends." Okay, so now it's 6 p.m. in the Ferraro residence. Catherine is sitting down talking to her family. And Richard and Laura. And Catherine says, "Can you believe you had to ruin the senator's career?" Catherine says. And Richard says, "Family commerce." Claude redirected a political endorsement because, quite frankly, there is a defamation suit against Wheeler in my office. And Laura says, "Can we talk about something else?" "I got a call from Catalina. She wants to see us in a few days to help her design a Colombian spice cake. Says that her cousin is coming in to see her." And says it's from Colombia? "No, Los Angeles. He's some big Tejano singer in charge of a band that has already had shows in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Las Vegas. They've been living in some mansion in Los Angeles. But now he wants to move to Shreveport to be near Catalina Laura said. Okay, so it's 9 p.m. back at the Ritmo mansion. Claude and Catalina talk. Caesar's coming to see me. And for good, Catalina says. He's moving to Shreveport along with his band. Now, I have to make this Colombian spice cake. Pastel de Especias. And it has to be just right. I gave you $90 to get some groceries, Claude says. Yes, but the only two things you had put on the grocery list were butter and cinnamon. And I'm going to need more than that to make a cake. All right, listen. Talk to the girls. We'll see what we can do. Okay, so now it's July 19th. It's 7 a.m. At the Ritmo house, Catalina is planting squash in the garden when Lady LaSalle comes from across the street. I got something for you. I was praying last night, and the Lord revealed that you must have this. Sugar, pure cane, with some slight refinement, Lady LaSalle said. Perfecto. Gracias, señora. I need this for my cousin when he comes to town this week. Okay, so it's 9 a.m. at the chop shop in Shreveport. Sid walks over to Sal, a fellow worker at the shop. I'll let you slide and play around. But I'm in real hot water with the boss, as it is. You make sure that 19 cars go into the crusher today by 7 tonight. It's my butt, and I get busted down a rank, Sid said. Don't screw around for the rest of the week. Get it done. Okay, so now it's 11 a.m. and Claude, Claude's Uncle Joseph, Claude is in the house of his Uncle Joe, Joseph Brown, who is sitting down eating some pork chops when Claude walks in. How about you sit down and have some lunch? Uncle Joe said. I got a dozen and a half fried eggs, some pork chops, mashed taters. For you I will. What's going on in the world? Claude says. The Powers family in Texas is wondering where the hell you have been. They want to sit down on Saturday You, me, and John Powers, the underboss, the head cheese. I'm thinking Dean is too sick to make any moves. Getting too big of a head. It's a request by Dean through John. Where does he want us to meet? Ronnie's Barbecue at Tyler, 10 a.m. Why do I feel like this is going to be a combat fest? Now, Claude, you're too young to be that cynical, Joe said. I'll pick you up tomorrow morning, 8:30 sharp. Well then, look sharp. I don't know what the hell they may have held against us. Okay, so now it's 1 p.m. at the house of Dean Powers, patriarch of the family. John is talking to his brother Dean. And so John says, okay, so it's Dean, okay. And Dean says, now you tell those, Ritmos, we're taking back the contract on the colonnade, Dean says. Are you sure about that? That's Louisiana turf. New Orleans could benefit Texas as much as Louisiana. And Dean says, that is unless he agrees to 60-40 in our favor. And John says, you're giving him a bitter pill to swallow, seeing that Sidney Ferraro is one of his most ruthless generals. And Dean takes a spoon out of his tea and thuds it on the table. Guy that runs 2 chop shops. He ain't nothing but maybe a lieutenant colonel at most. Running cars from New Orleans to Fort Worth. And John's like, all right. 60-40. But don't be surprised if Claude's Uncle Joe doesn't tell him to accept it. Okay, so it's 3 p.m. Meanwhile, back at the Ritmo house in Shreveport, Catalina is watering her roses when her cell phone rings and it's Caesar. Hey, prima! I'm in Phoenix now, on layover, for refueling, Caesar said. The bus gets its full of fuel, and we leave in about 55 minutes to go to El Paso around 10 your time. Cuidado, prima, Catalina said. Okay, so now it's 5 p.m. In the Ferraro living room, Sid and Catherine talk. can't believe it. Finally got some, said, can't believe it. Finally got some work done. 19 cars crushed in Shreveport all day. And Catalina says, Catherine says, yeah. Henry said that you sold a few. And says, well, that was off the books. I'm not telling her. Tell Claude. And neither am I. You know I hate it when Maria meddles in your business. And here's the thing, okay, her character doesn't get developed. This episode is more about Caesar's development, if you don't mind. Okay, so 7 p.m. at Billy Bob's in Fort Worth, Joe sits down, and the ruffians, and some ruffians come in. And this one ruffian says, I think that's my seat, old man. The ruffian said, named Edme says, I may be 67 years old, but young man, you do the smart thing, Joe said. Walk away. You look so wimpy that I want to try. And Joe, oh man, he's pissed. He's like, I went to the U.S. Air Force Academy for 2 years, Joe said. I got expelled because I took hand-to-hand combat personally. Move! And Edme takes a swing. Famous last mistake. Before long, Joe has him on the floor. Boy, are you going to continue calling me an old man? You should have just walked away. What do? You act like a fool. Smarter. A 6'5" man approaches the two of them. And throws them out of the bar, throwing the young man head first, and then gently pushing Joe out. This is a fine establishment, and if you're smart, neither one of you will come back here again. Okay, so it's 9 p.m. Back at Claude's house, he and Catalina are talking. And Catalina says, shall I ask you about your day? Or you haven't learned, Catalina said sarcastically, taking out her whip. Ooh, her whip. Catalina and her whip. Man, this is going to be interesting. Also a whip for the ruffian. And Claude says, "Not tonight, honey. I'm not in the mood for you being smart aleck. I got to meet the Powers family in the morning, and it ain't going to be pretty," Claude says. "Well, if they run afoul of you, you can punish them for me," Catalina said, hugging Claude. And Claude says, "This is strictly business." He says as the phone rings, "Hello? Uncle Joe? Where the hell are you? Half a mile out of Shreveport? And you're drunk? And out of gas?" "Hell, I'm on my way. I'm sorry, Catalina. I gotta go pick up my uncle." "Typical," Catalina said, taking the whip and whipping the bed as Claude leaves. "Woo, Catalina." Temper. 8:30 a.m. Claude and Uncle Joe climb into Claude's 1993 Chevy Suburban to take the trip to Tyler. And Claude says, "You finally freaking lost it after you told me Father Bird that you weren't going to do it again," Claude says. Things got heavy. Couldn't stay in that big house all alone. My journey was... Okay, here we go. And so Uncle Joe says, "Things got heavy. Couldn't stay in that big house all alone last night," Uncle Joe said. "Here's your hair of the dog. Compliments of Catalina. She's pretty pissed at you for going off the wagon after so many years of being clean. Why would she care? She just hates men." Okay, so it's 9 a.m. Catalina is watching TV when the phone rings. It's Caesar. "Prima, the bus detour is New Mexico, but we should be in Lubbock in 3 hours," Caesar said. "How's the van taking it?" "Carlito, he's got motion sickness. And so does Anita. But the rest of the band seems to be fine. We stopped here to get some Dramamine." "Take it easy, Primo," Catalina said. Catalina gets up and juices some tangerine and mixes that in a blender with the butter, cinnamon, and sugar for the spice cake. All right, 10 a.m. Ronnie's Barbecue in Tyler, Texas. Claude and Joe sit down for breakfast with John Powers. And John says, Dean says that he wants to go ahead and take away the contract with the colonnade in New Orleans. Dean says, The hell are you talking about? Joe said angrily. It's his terms. The hell are you talking about? Excuse me? I deserve to be told why. He wants the contract to be done 60-40 in his favor. And Claude spoke up tersely. The hell with that. Y'all are just taking advantage of the fact that I don't have a state senator on board with me right now. I'm sorry that you feel that way, Claude. Dean Powers' daughters are final. And Claude gets up. Take it and shove it. We're going to do this with or without you. Uncle Joe, come on. 12 p.m. Catalina is watching a Colombian soap opera on the internet when the phone rings and it's Caesar from Lubbock. Hey, prima. We stopped in Lubbock for refuel. We're leaving for Fort Worth at 1:30, which means we'll be there by 6 o'clock, Caesar said. Well, when will you be here? Catalina protested. We stayed the night in Fort Worth because we have a concert at a bar. We leave for Shreveport tomorrow at 3:30 in the afternoon, and we'll be there in time for the concert at 7. Tranquilo, Caesar. Sarah, Caesar said happily. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. North Richland Hills, Texas. John Powers is sitting with his son David by the pool and talking. And Dean says, I give Claude an offer, and he just threw it right back in my face. Disgraceful, Dean Powers said bitterly. I told you, Dad. You're going too far. Knowing you and Uncle John, that was an outlandish offer. I wouldn't necessarily give Claude the key to the city in New Orleans, but I would try for a better cut in where you can both at least be equal, David said. This isn't the damn Camp David Accords, Dean shot back. When I mean final offer, when I say final offer, I mean final offer. You know Mama's proud about you. The Air Force has made you too tough for your own good. Not that it really matters. The way you taught me from your Air Force days. Impacted me. But still, that's like playing Monopoly for blood when you can barely smell the blood in the water. What do you know about politics, boy? And Dave Power says, I know well enough. I knew well enough to support Reagan in 80 and 84 and Bush in 88. But in 92, I went with Michelle to vote against the family for Clinton. Okay, Michelle is Dave Power's wife. You don't hear that much about it. You got cement in your ears? And I can't handle this, Dean said, walking away. Sit down, Dolores Powers, Dean's wife, said. You know, I could have easily married Charlie Bastrop, but I saw more in you. Dean, honey, the least thing you could do is honor David's wish. All right, baby. I'll think about it, Dean said, sitting back down and taking some iced mint tea. Okay, so now it's 3 p.m. On the bus, Caesar is working through his band and practicing their lead song. I renewed. Okay, so it's 4 p.m. Claude Chevy Suburban pulls out in front of the house. Hey, mi amor. I'm done with different work for the day. Guess let's just slip upstairs and have a good time, Claude says. They sneak upstairs to Jim, and they started to make love. Okay, so now it's 5 p.m. at the house of David Powers. The family, including his parents, Dean and Dolores, sit down for dinner. And Michelle Powers, she said, so the family from the boot slighted you, Michelle Powers said. What does it mean to be slighted? Isaac, the 13-year-old youngest child in the Powers family, said. Never mind, David, his father said. Now, Dad, you have to know this thing between you and the Whitlows has to stop. Word gets out in the Texas Syndicate, then we have problems. Then what the hell is a Texas family doing approaching him? Dean demanded. Dolores spoke up. David, just ask a blessing on the food. You don't have a clue that perhaps the Hendrick family was asking for a favor to have something to do in Louisiana. Yeah, sure. Approach some gimps from Louisiana, Dean said. Dad, let's be done with this and just have a Saturday dinner, David said. Can't we just enjoy family life like in the old days? Okay, so it's 6 p.m. Arriving in Fort Worth, Caesar texted his cousin saying that the band was going to be staying the night there as they had a bar concert there. They would leave at 3:30 in the afternoon to arrive at Shreveport just in time for their concert. Okay, so it's 8 p.m. Diane Ferraro had come and knocked on the door to talk to Catalina. I'm sick of Dad. He's neglecting Mom. And whatever she does to meddle in our lives, Diane said. Well, because of that, do you hate men? Catalina says. I love my father, but you don't have a clue what a teenager wants. Ever since Annie arrived last month to stay a few weeks, the house has been like chaos. Claude walks in. Your mama is chaos. And I've told your dad, God knows how many times, to rein her in. Their behavior is bad for my business. Mom and Dad, it's almost like they need a marriage counselor, Dean said. And Claude says, maybe your mama needs a psychiatrist. Then she could tell the doctor her troubles instead of just blabbing it all over town. I think Catherine Ferraro is one of the few hated characters in this. Right now, Catalina's being good. So it's 9 p.m. At Uncle Joe's house. He makes a bubble bath for himself and his girlfriend, Amanda. They haven't seen each other for the past year and a half now. Let's talk marriage, Amanda said. Hey, Joe said. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I mean, I really love you. But the problem is going to be pitching it to my sister-in-law and my nephew. My brother Jackie has been gone for nearly 7 years now. I can't frighten Lillian, my sister-in-law. It's almost like Joe thinks that Lillian is fragile. 10 p.m. Caesar is in the crew make it back to the motel stinking drunk. The driver of the bus is obviously very sober, which is good. They don't want anybody driving drunk, per se. And it gets a little bit more interesting, if you will. Okay, so... July 21st, 3 a.m. Lillian wakes up with sharp pain, arthritis. She wishes for one of her husband's tonics as a bedside to help relieve the pain so she can get back to sleep. 7 a.m. Claude and Catalina are having breakfast before getting ready to go to church. Damn Powers family. Don't know having the clue who the hell they're messing with, Claude says. All right. Then punish them for me, Catalina said. Oh. You know what? I'm done talking about that. All I got to do is find a way to keep you in business with them. And them stop making stupid offers. Okay, 9 a.m. St. Paul's Catholic Church. And this is Kids Landing. Claude and Catalina listen to the priest deliver a homily surrounding the feast of day of St. Lawrence. Benici. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. Back at Claude's house, Catalina, Catherine, and Laura put together an assembly line of spices: cinnamon, nutmeg, cumin, oregano, mixing it together with some flour and egg. Mixing it together to make a paste. Then icing the spices in and around the cake, And of course, Catalina had the rest of the ingredients, of course. 3:30 p.m. Caesar's tour bus speeds off for Shreveport. And so he calls Catalina. I'll be there at 7. Maybe a little earlier. Jesus says, well then, I got a surprise for you. You've been chosen to stay in a motel. But you'll be staying with me because I have a beautiful Pastel de Especias for you, Catalina said. Like Mama and Papi used to make for us back in the 70s, Caesar said. It's nearly done, but I had to ask for help. Te amo, prima. No paso esperar. A verle, Caesar said. Okay, 7 p.m. This is the key event that I'm in here. At the University Auditorium in Shreveport, Caesar and his band began their concert with a rendition of the old the town hit, Hey Baby, ¿qué pasó? I liked that song when I first heard it. It became a good running deal. Okay, so now we go to July 22nd, 6 a.m. At his house in Shreveport, Ashley wakes up from a weekend 3-day bender. Oh no, Ashley said. Just want to follow. I would wake up feeling better. Here comes this train like hangover, Ashley said. You don't want to drink tequila. Tequila Rain at that concert last night. Jennifer says, I'm a girl that has lived in Fort Worth, Houston, Dallas, Kelton. I told you that Tequila Rain was very popular, but it is twice as potent as regular tequila, Jenny says. But I was tasting it with beer. You didn't even know what you were doing. Go ahead. Take it out on me. 7 a.m. At the Redmo house, Catalina is serving Caesar and Claude a full Colombian breakfast. And Catalina says, it's been so long. You've been gone. Why'd you choose to stay away from here? Catalina asked in a mad determination. Do you not realize that what you did hurt? Has olvidado, Caesar said. One had just formed a band that year. And I spent a total of 3 weeks with you in Baton Rouge. And we had shows to do in Las Vegas and Los Angeles. Be kind to your cousin, Catalina, Claude says. Mántate para esta, Claude, Caesar said. What you and my cousin need to know is that I'm here to stay. Sure. We might do some shows back west, but I am looking for houses in Baton Rouge and New Orleans and Shreveport, so I can be near mi prima. Okay, so now it's 9 a.m. in the back office of Cipro's. Claude meets with his underboss, Mike. And Mike said, I just want to let you know there may be trouble brewing between you and the Powers family, Mike said. Guess what the hell do you know? Just what the hell do you know? Claude says, taking a sip of his coffee. Yes to new. 2 plus 1 is 3. To believe that there's going to be trouble. They're already withdrawing from the deal regarding the colonnade. Let Bean Powers come crawling back to his family members of the Texas Syndicate. I doubt the Elroy family in Waco show him any sympathy, and the Troy family in Austin he'll bury him alive. He wants to pick us alive? Let him go swim with the sharks with the Texas Syndicate. Okay, so it's 1 p.m. With Caesar out looking, house hunting in Shreveport, in Baton Rouge, Catalina is out watering her yard when Lady LaSalle comes walking towards her. I think you need to see yesterday's edition of The Advocate, Lady LaSalle said. Why should I even trust that rag? Oh, it's Lillian's. Why should I even trust that rag? Lillian says it's always publishing trash. Why should I even trust that rag? Lillian says it's always publishing trash about me. Mi esposa, Catalina says. The paper has this in the front story. And the article is pretty clear. Baton Rouge police picked up a lady of the night. Said that she worked with Claude. So, My husband hangs out with putas, Catalina said. Now, quírate aquí. She turns off the garden hose and aims it at Lady LaSalle, who runs back home. Man, Catalina, that girl gets wicked when you piss her off. 1 p.m. The Rittenhouse crime family is meeting in Ashley's home. Mike's hookup. We have trouble with one of our working chicks. One in Baton Rouge, picked up by the police. She says that she's been working for us. We have no choice. Close her out in the clink, Ashley said. And Claude says, there's this lady named Madame Ruth who makes who was arrested for selling unlawful potions. She knows Catalina, so I'll just tell her that she goes. She owes Catalina a favor by taking this little flop chick out, Claude says. I can have her clipped by the end of the day. And Richard said, are you sure about this? Do you realize what reputation this is about us? Damn it, Claude. I am a lawyer. And I have a reputation to protect. Damn it, can't you see? I can't be pinned down with a charge of prostitution, let alone murder. Have you lost your mind? Laura is not going to like this one little bit. And she came over to your house to help Catalina put together that spice cake for her cousin. Claude grabs Richard from off his chair and shakes him, slamming him back down in the chair. You shut up. Last thing I need is blabbermouth. Now, just see what happened when you don't rein in. Now, Sid, you see what happens when you don't rein one in your captains? I'm losing my faith in you. And Ashley says, all right, everybody calm down. Richard, I'm just a sergeant. I'll take the hit for everybody. How many damn times do I have to tell you guys This will be a favor for Catalina, not the family. If you can't keep your yamp shit, I'm surprised. I got it even from a crime family. I got it even a crime family at all. Okay, so it's 2 p.m. Meanwhile, at Uncle Joe's house, he gets a call from a Baton Rouge lawyer named Dusty Klein. What? Joe said. What business got my nephew in trouble now? He can't get control of his family. I know that, wink, wink. It's Sydney Ferraro. No, Dusty. You do what has to be done. But if Sydney keeps costing his family, I'll have to put him out. So, one might say that Uncle Joe is considering a hit on Sydney. 4 p.m. Back at the Ritmo house, Caesar takes out his portable keyboard and begins singing his own rendition of the romantic ballad C.O.C. After playing his tune, Caesar gets up. Tengo pastel, nieces, bebecido, Caesar said. Sorry. I need to save myself for dinner, Claude says. Mías esas tomaron el pero yo quiere yo quiero, Catalina says. That's a spirit, girl. Haven't forgotten your roots one bit, Caesar says. Now, I got a bar concert again tonight after dinner. And tomorrow, a street race. See, Caesar is part singer and part gangster. 7 p.m. The family sits down for some combination burritos. Claude was talking about some disturbing news he received for the day, and that he was thinking about busting Sydney a rank because he was on thin ice with Claude. Okay, 9 p.m. At the Sticks Bar in Shreveport, Mike corners Sydney. Hell, do you not realize you're on thin ice with Claude? Now Richard is one are our best earners. But you never rein him in with that damn temper of his, Mike says. I'm trying. But he's been off his rocker ever since the CBD controversy, Sid says. And while you're at it, ring in on your wife. Ever since Jim Hendrick asked for that political favor, she's in nothing but trouble. I'm taking her to a Catholic marriage counselor in a couple of days, Sid said. In the meantime, can you get Claude to calm down? Sure, I could. But Ferraro, you have a captain that's a loose cannon. Take care of it. Or, next thing you know, you might be on the chopping block. Also 9 p.m. Back at the Whitmer Mansion, Claude and Catalina are talking. Do you know what we do with an unruly happy time in Colombia, Catalina said. We beat him. Feed him to the wolves and leave him for dead. We come back in a few weeks. And he's not dead. We kill him. Woman, I'm not ready to order him like that. My business is in the crapper, Claude said. You tell Sid, if you heard anything about Richard going ape nuts, then you're going to have to find some way to deal it. Punish him for me. Catalina, you're starting to get on my nerves, Claude says. Now, I'm telling you, without my business, focus on your cousin. You're always carrying on and screaming about how he deprived you of life. That was before I met you, Claude. Kind of a sweet moment. Okay, so it's 11 p.m. Caesar and his band had just finished the last song, and they get into a Buick limousine to take the band to the hotel, and Caesar, of course, goes back to Catalina. Okay, 7:25 a.m. Claude picks up his Uncle Joe in the parking lot of Stick's Bar, and they take off to Bransco Diner in Hideaway, Texas. 9 a.m. At Bransco Diner, Dean Powers comes running towards Joe and Claude. Have I got a bone to pick with you? John Powers said, lunging one of his keys at Claude and Joe. Now what the hell did we do now? One of your generals ordered a hit of one of my working girls. Some of them hijacked by a captain of yours. Took over the poor girl's car. A drunk ran into her car, killing her. And the Yap left the scene. Why the hell are you making accusations you can't back up? That you can't prove? She's dead. And some slick looking, fancy dressed captain of yours ran away from the scene. First of all, what time was it? First of all, what time was it? 2 a.m, Joe said. Nobody can prove that he left the scene. And why don't you check out some of the boys that she sleeps with before you come around wanting to hit at us? John Powers slammed his briefcase on the table. For every crime, there is a witness. Anytime they'll find your captain and put him under. Come on, Uncle Joe. Yeah, John. You go ahead and worship at the shrine of your brother Dean. Go crying to the Texas Syndicate about this injustice. But don't come make with me with accusations that you can't back up, Claude said, grabbing his uncle and walking away. This is pretty intense. 1 p.m. Claude makes his way over to the Kids Landing Chop Shop and knocks Sid against the refrigerator again. What the hell is where the hell was Richard last night? Claude demanded. Wait a minute. How the hell am I supposed to know? You think you'd be home with Laura? I told you to rein in on this loose cannon. Ever since he went nuts over the CBD thing. He's draining the family. The Powers family already accuses him of leaving the scene when he's drunk. Collides into a car with one of their working girls. They say he's responsible for this. And you buy that? Claude chokes Sid and rams him against the refrigerator again. You got 24 hours to deal with Richard. If the police in Fort Worth pick him up, I won't protect him. I mean it. 24 hours to deal with Richard. If you don't do that, I'm forced to bust you a rank. 1 p.m. Caesar and Catalina are talking on the front lawn of Claude's house when a white BMW pulls up at the end of the block in front of the Dulles house. Who the hell is this pendejo? Caesar asked. One of my husband's united captains, a lawyer. Keeps causing him problems. If Claude doesn't deal with him, I'll be caliente out of him. As Caesar corrected his cousin. Respect your husband's work. Just because we don't like the pendejo at the end of the block doesn't mean that we need to take it out on him. Claude drives up and gets out of his car. How did it go? Catalina said. Woman, don't even ask, Claude said, heading to going into the door. But Caesar stopped him. Don't you disrespect mi familia. Sure. Mi prima is un dolor. But now, she loves you crazy, Caesar said. I'm sorry. I stand corrected. I got hamburgers for everybody for lunch. 3 p.m. So, at Richard's law office, he's doing some research in the conference room when Sid walks in. Hey, Sid. Why don't you tell me you were coming? I could have gotten my girls to get you some whiskey. Just tell me what's going on. And Sid says, you got me in hot water, Claude. The Powers family hold you responsible for the death of one of their working girls. Okay, so I was in Fort Worth last night. But it doesn't prove anything, Richard said. Sid slams Richard into the wall. Stop pretending to be a big shot. Claude is taking heat from the Powers family. Would you calm down? The police have nothing to say. And if the papers pick it up, especially the Fort Worth Times, if your face is in the paper in any way, having anything near the Powers crime family, you're dead in the water, and I'm busted to the rank. Get up and stop pretending to be a big shot. Sid walks out of the office. Smashing a nearby mirror. 7 p.m. At Claude's house, the family sits down for a hamburger dinner. Suddenly, the phone rings. Hey, Claude, it's John. Look, some other evidence is coming up. I need you to take a red eye to DFW tomorrow morning. Nobody else. Just me and you. Claude pounded his fist on the table. What the hell is this all about? He demanded. Dean says he wants he wants you to hear it from him. He'll meet you at the airport, and you can talk there. I'm sorry. It's an all-day meeting. Okay, so this is going to get interesting. This is going to be interesting. Because it is about the spice cake, but in some ways it's not. 6:45 a.m. Claude's plane taxis down the runway and departs from Shreveport bound for DFW. 8:30 a.m. Claude is escorted by two men into the power suite at the Hyatt Regency Hotel. A half-emaciated Dean sits down in front of him. Doris had to give me a shot to calm me down, Dean said. The hard-boiled evidence against your captain, fabricated by my brother, turned out to be true. However, your captain was seen paying off this guy, a congressional aide. That means a congressional candidate that I support is dropping out of the race because of sexual harassment charges, Dean says. He's beside himself. I personally don't blame you. But if you don't hold your captain, Richard, accountable, I may have to hold you responsible. heart is not in the best condition. And he can't afford to go through this. 12 p.m. in Cyprus. Ashley meets Richard. He says, I just got off the phone with Claude. Turns out the evidence against you wasn't real. But what they did catch you on camera doing was paying off a congressional aide, Ashley said. Richard, you're putting down the McGraw family. You need to get a grip and see what the consequences are. Lay off the cocaine. Come off it, Ash. I've been clean for 6 days. Then what the damn hell were you doing in Fort Worth the other night? Business. Sounds like personal business to me. Let me tell you something. Claude is going to be back at Shreveport tonight at 7. And he's going to be angry as hell. Sid is already busted to Lieutenant General. I'm up to second lieutenant, which means I'm knocking at your door. I'm knocking at your door. Wise up, Richard, and man up. Laura can't put up with this forever. 1 p.m. Back at the Hyatt, Claude meets with Dean, with David Powers. You have to forgive my father and my uncle, David said. They're too old school. They think that politics can be bought quick and clean. It's a dirty game. You know that. And I don't think Richard has anything to do with it. No, I think he did. Caught on camera to offer the right paying this congressional aide $22,000. Michelle and I don't want any trouble. So anything that Dad starts, you don't come to John. You come to me. We're the same age, Claude. My dad and my uncle come from a different generation. Dave, I think we can become very good friends. Let's shake hands and be good friends, David said. Partner? Claude vigorously shook his hand. Shook the young captain's hand. We are partners. Okay, so it's 2 p.m. in downtown Shreveport. Sid walks into Richard's office. I got busted to the rank I got busted rank. You get busted too, Sid said. Tell me, what did I do? Caught bribing a public official on camera. Claude tells me that the feds are all over the Powers family over this. Well, Dean's about to croak, and you're now a first lieutenant, which is no better than an associate. Now, I need to go find me a new captain that can hold his own. 3 p.m. Caesar pulls in the drive of a house a few doors down across the street. Oh, Catalina doesn't see Caesar there. Esta es mi casa. For me and my band, Caesar said. So you're staying here? Catalina said. Actually, we got a plane to catch. Soon. Probably charter a jet. We got a concert back in Los Angeles. And then we're coming back. So they get in the car to go to LAX. There we go. Okay, now 4 p.m. Richard comes home angry and beside himself. Man, what a bad day. The defamation case against Cordell Wheeler got dropped. And I also got busted a rank by Sid. I'm a first lieutenant now, which means nothing. I don't have regular access to Claude, Richard said. You were the one to promise me to lay off the coke. And now, look at you, again. You're back at it, Laura said. So what? Being a lawyer is hard nowadays. I have nothing else. You know, the J.R. Hendrick Texan gentleman is going to have a character in a few years. Has the same vibe as Richard. Okay, 6 p.m. It is like going back to Shreveport. Claude is breathing a sigh of relief. But the Fort Worth Times front page reports that the FBI is racking up charges of bribery, tax evasion, blackmail, and forgery against Dean Powers. Damn fool. Could be arrested in any time, Claude said. 8 p.m. Claude arrives at his house with Catalina drawing her whip. Woo, Catalina. Catalina. With that whip of hers. And Richard gets a whip for being busted and complaining. I mean, no one can blame Claude for doing that. And Catalina says, "You said you had to be home an hour ago," Catalina screamed, drawing near him with a whip. "What? You disrespecting me? You decide to hate me? Look, I had to stop off at the Italian district to name a new captain. Come on, phone. Robert Pacino. He ain't no lawyer, and he hasn't taken no. He has to take no prisoner's approach. That's what I need in dealing with the damn Powers family. And all this crap that goes on around here, Louisiana. Okay, so it's 5 a.m. Robert's alarm goes off and he wakes up. And Charlie, his wife, says, "Now, do you have to leave so soon? Babe, since I'm a new captain now, I have to go meet Sydney at the chop shop to find out what my job is. But when can you come home? We'll have breakfast today. I'll fix it when we get home. 7 p.m., chop shop." Robert says, "I came here to talk to you about my racket." And Sis says, "I was going to put you in protection, but that would be unfair for new captain. The Magellan is a premier riverboat casino here in Shreveport. Famous, almost like the Queen Elizabeth. If you can run the casino from the rear office, there shouldn't be no problem," Sid said. "Your hours would be 6 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. You can take a 1 to 2 hour break whenever you want to be with your wife. She didn't bring her if you want to. But be sure you're faithful in the collection dates. Claude will be by to collect yours from the till on Saturday. Isn't the Gaming Commission going to have to find a field day with this?" And Sid's like, "Well, Claude has a friend in the commission." Okay, so now it's 9 a.m. on the 25th. Catalina is working on her knitting when she gets a call. It's Caesar. putting up my casa down for sale. Muy fácil, Caesar said. Besado mi muebles viejos. An agent got me some furniture up in Shreveport. And our band is going to be headquartered there. And we will be in the new studio, Macmillan studio. Take care of yourself, Caesar. I can't wait to see you tonight, Catalina said. 11 a.m. Oh, what did you do that for? Phone? Almost done. Okay, so it's 11 a.m. Claude walks up to his mother's house and knocks on the door. He knocks on it about 5 times. Hey, Mama, Claude says. Who is this? Lillian said. Come on, Mama, it's me. Open the door. Claude. Lord, I wonder what took you so long to stop by. I've been busy, Mama. You know that. So, I get this phone to stop doing that. It's annoying. Oh, why does that? I'm going to make it stop. That's idiotic. So they go into dining room near the kitchen. I got you something, Mama. A jam box? Can I get a Walkman for Christmas? Of course. But she's been sitting around without... You've been sitting around without music. Morning day, long enough. I got your favorites. Patsy Cline, Kenny Rogers, Tom T. Hall, Loretta Lynn. Hell, even Joe Stampley and Mo Bandy. Thanks. I got some fried eggplant. Mashed potatoes and gravy. Yeah, and fried okra. It's about time you gave your mama a chance to feed you. You ever hear from Irina or Josh or Jeremy? Your sister is too rich in that big house in Austin to spend time with me. But Josh is in Corpus Christi as a doctor now. Doesn't seem to care. That's Jeremy. And you know, Josh is in prison. He won't call me. Blames me for why he ended up there. That's his own fault. But Mama, I'm sorry. I know you got plenty of friends. And I know I've been busy. I'm nobody special. Least thing I do is drop by and see you more. Oh, it's okay, honey. You have a demanding business to run. But tell that wife of yours not to be on you like that anymore. 1 p.m. Back at Claude's house, Catalina is cleaning out the cake pan of the Colombian spice cake for the family. She is reminiscent of the old days when Caesar and longs to see him return again. 3:40 p.m. The private plane carrying Caesar and his band departs from LAX bound for Shreveport. 5 p.m. At the Dulles house, Richard comes home. I don't like being a first lieutenant, but at least I'm free from Claude's grip for a while. I can have the luxury I need to be. Well, then you better study hard and work hard. Because, Claude used to put food on our tables. Here you go at it again. All you do is complain. Hope you enjoy the written notes. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, become a part of the saga. This is the James Hendrick Empowerment Network saying, take care and get ready for the rest of the saga. It gets a little bit more heartwarming from here.